Okay, welcome to the first class on the 48 Ways to Wisdom by Rav Noah Weinberg. I'd like to start giving these 48 different lessons. Just to give a thank you to Rav Noah, who founded Esha Torah, my first yeshiva where I learned. And these are really 48 ways to live our lives that can really help us grow, enjoy our day-to-day life, grow as people, better ourselves. The idea, now why the number 48? 48 comes from a Mishnah in the Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of Our Fathers, where we learn that Torah is acquired by means of 48 different qualities. And I'll read you the first few: study, attentive listening, articulate speech, intuitive understanding. So this is actually a Mishnah in the Tractate of Avot. And it basically is talking about how the ways that we acquire Torah. Now, Rav Noah really took this and this concept and taught these 48 ways to people that were new to yeshiva, to people that were not so new in yeshiva, to basically just give people inspiration and give us that love for being Jewish that we all constantly need, that chizuk, that refresher in how important it is as Jews to learn Torah, to enjoy Torah, and really the best ways to be systematic in acquiring Torah, because it takes a lot of strategy, our learning and living our lives. So we need to go through things very carefully. So here we go. 48 Ways to Wisdom by Rav Noah Weinberg. The first chapter. Okay, Talmud. Talmud is study. The importance of studying, being a student in life in general, in anything that we do, in our work as a teacher. I'm always doing continuing education seminars each year to adapt to the new technologies and the new situation of the students. If you learned economics, you have to keep studying your economics, increasing your knowledge of economics every year because the economy changes. A doctor has to adapt new kinds of medicines, new type of viruses, shalom, but so we always need to be acquiring more knowledge. You can't just be satisfied with where you're at. Kind of like, let's say, I'm going to use a lot of sports examples here because I'm coming from as a phys ed teacher and personal trainer, this is what I know. So basically, if let's say the most fit person in the world, right? If you take a month off and don't work out, or more than that, anytime you don't take working off, your fitness level goes down. And, even just to stay the same, at the same level, not to improve your fitness level, but to stay at the same level, you need to be working pretty hard. If you're a marathon runner, you have to be running a lot of miles. You have to putting in a lot of miles. And I remember when I used to play tennis growing up, the coach would say, tennis is a numbers game. And that's a lot of sports too. Numbers, meaning you have to practice. The one who practices, let's say the forehand in tennis the most times will likely be the best player because you just needs practice, constant practice. And that's how we need to live our life, knowing that we need to constantly be learning and that we've never, let's say, acquired enough knowledge. We always need to be learning from other people, learning from our sages, learning Torah. And so this first chapter here is about Talmud, studying constantly. Now, he breaks it up into 5 different parts. The first is constant study. Now, they say a Torah Jew is never bored. There's always things to learn. We need to be always trying to acquire knowledge from wherever we can. They say the Lubavitcher Rebbe, founder of Chabad, what Chabad is known for, sorry, maybe not the founder of Chabad, but the Rebbe from Chabad, we know that he learned actually many languages in the bathroom. It's forbidden to learn Torah in the bathroom, but he did learn other things in the bathroom, and he learned a number of languages. If we there's a nice thing by Rebbe Nachman, the Breslov, who, we have to even learn from the thieves in the world that you need to steal time to make Torah, to learn Torah. Even you have a little bit of free time, a little, you can learn more while you're waiting online. People have finished tractates of the Talmud while they're waiting in line at the supermarket, with pocket-sized books. So if we have to always kind of be alert and trying to learn and not wasting time, really, not wasting time. And this is a big debate, but what's like a big time waster for us nowadays is our phones, our technology. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits, we all know, but we all know too there's a lot of time where we're maybe not working towards accomplishing our goal in life. We are doing something that we enjoy, maybe checking the news, reading some interesting articles, things like that. But we have to constantly be checking, are we using our device to be growing and not just wasting time? Because time is precious and we don't want to waste time. Okay? Now, distraction. And this is a nice analogy he gives that basically, let's say there's you're boiling water right over a stove and you keep taking it off the stove. It's never going to boil because you keep taking it off. It's not getting hot enough. It's going to keep, or it's going to take a very long time, let's say, or maybe never. You have to keep that water, that pot on the fire till it boils. Meaning when you are trying to learn something, you have to commit yourself to it. You have to limit distractions. You have to, in today's generation, it's extremely hard because we're trying always to multitask a million and one different things. And, but the way to really learn something effectively is to put your focus towards it. Better to learn, let's say, 20 minutes without distraction than learning for 2 hours, but with a distraction, let's say every few minutes or whatever. So constantly, without distraction is very important. And even like things like relaxation, we can't be, let's say, learning Torah all day, or we can't be intensely working at our jobs all day. We need relaxation time, but we need to relax in a productive way. Are we relaxing in a way that's wasting time, or are we really relaxing in a way that's refreshing us, that's doing something good for our bodies? Maybe we're exercising as we're relaxing. Maybe we're reading a book, listening to music, that are things that can really be good for us. So even our relaxation has to be calculated and not wasting time. Play on your phone for half an hour, and then you even wasted half an hour of good relaxation time where you could have done something for your mind or your body. So we really need to, plan out even the time where we're relaxing. Now, consistent is the next thing. He's saying that you have to be consistent with your study. Just like, let's say at your work, you have a work schedule. As a teacher, let's say I teach, every, let's say Monday at 10 in the morning, I teach the 8th grade, so I'm going to show up to their class at 10 o'clock every Monday. But we need to, just like we have set things in our work, we should also make set times in Torah. That's a big concept of not just I'll learn when I'll learn, to have a constant, time and chavrutas, learning with pairs, learning in a class. I personally go on Thursday nights to a kollel, and that's my night that I try to, really make sure I don't have other things planned. So making it in your schedule, so it's what we call kavua, which is a consistent thing, always happening. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, so this is like really speaks to me as a trainer and a coach, because this is continuously learning is the idea of basically practicing, working on your focus. We all have become ADD today, with all the things going on and trying to juggle so many different things. But just like we work on let's say our muscles or our endurance or, lots of other midot, other qualities in ourselves, working on our anger, things like that. We also really need to work on our focus, do drills in it. basically try to focus for 5 minutes uninterrupted and maybe go up to 10 minutes. And it says that basically the tzaddikim could go up to 4 hours, learning, 4 hours uninterrupted. And they could really be, at 4 hours, they really got going, in the deep thought and everything like that. So, very hard to get at that level. Even today, 5-10 minutes is not easy uninterrupted, but to try to do drills to build ourselves up where we can really focus on something for a period of time is worthwhile, because we need to practice it like we practice anything, okay. So reviewing, okay, we need to review what we study. This is a big concept in Torah. You cannot you usually can't learn a concept once, as we study for a test, especially a complicated test, which Torah is complicated, life is complicated. You need to review it again and again and again. And even most of the things I learned, back in school, let's say science, the Krebs cycle, I remember maybe the basic things, even though I knew it perfectly for the test, or somewhat perfectly. I don't remember that much of it now. So we lose over time. We have to constantly be refreshing our memory and doing repetition. Reish Lakish used to prepare his lesson 40 times before delivering it. I've heard other big rabbanim too. There was a Rav who used to always give such precise, short lectures. And one day it was long and complicated. And they said, why was it so, it was hard to grasp today. It was very intense. And he said, yes, I had something happen with the family, and I was only able to prepare half the time that I usually can. And usually I work on something again and again and again, and I boil it down to what's the most concise, user-friendly knowledge instead of, and I didn't have that time. So my lecture was a bit more complex and less, let's say, user-friendly because of my lack of preparation. So I apologize. So we need to prepare just like we prepare for a test, just like we prepare when we're going to give a speech. We need to review our learning so that the more we review it, the more it becomes a part of us. And it says in the Talmud, in the Gemara, Masechet Chagiga, that one cannot compare the one who reviewed 100 times to the one who reviewed 101 times. So not just focusing on learning new things, but also, having the patience to review what we know already, or what we've learned already. Okay, good. So the next one is to be is comprehensive. Be a student of life. That, like we said, always be learning. We should learn from every person. Not be arrogant about who we can learn from. The person has to be a PhD for me to take what he says seriously. No, we can learn from a child. We can learn a lot from our students. We can learn a lot from our kids. We can learn a lot from our teachers, from our parents, from our spouses, we can learn from everyone, really. And basically, the Rambam writes that you should make your work secondary and your Torah study a fixed matter. Work is very important, and we have many valid reasons for putting our work maybe before Torah study. We have important jobs that help people, that mitzvot are involved in our work. And, we have responsibility. We have to put money in the bank account, food on the table. We have to, go out and help people. There are lots of reasons why our work is so, so important. But the Torah, if we just say, again, we're going to learn when we learn, it's not going to happen at all. So it has to be very important, just like we know, making time to daven, making time to learn Torah, and not just kind of on the side of our job. First we're Torah Jews, and then we'll give our work 100%, and we should work hard, and we should work well. But we need to really put that importance on our spiritual side, that if a person isn't spiritually sound, they're not going to be physically sound, mentally sound. They're going to have a big imbalance that will affect them in their work. So know that spiritual success, being in a good spiritual place, helps us in all aspects of life. Okay, even if you work very hard, you're very successful, you're very stressed, always make time and be hungry for wisdom. Okay, so the main thing I think we can take from this is try not to waste time. There's so many ways to waste time but we should always be, at least even if we're not doing something physically, thinking, keeping an active mind, pondering what's going on in the world. How can we make ourselves better? How can we be more efficient? How can we, be better servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of Hashem, by, of doing mitzvot and learning Torah. Now, we often forget that many things in life are more important than money, and we can say it 1,000 times, but money and what we call gashmiut, the physical things in life, always have a strong pull on us. But really, we should always make that extra importance on our spiritual focus in life, learning constantly. And just to sum up the major points, limit distractions, build up our ability to focus through doing drills, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, putting our Torah before our profession, before our work, and reviewing what we learned, because we can never review enough times, and we'll always forget if we don't review. And always try to be growing and learning and not wasting time. So this was the first class on Talmud learning. Bezat Hashem, next class will be on Shmirat HaOzen, effective listening. Thanks a lot.